note that since 1978, college tuition and fees have increased a whopping 1,120%. USA Today has conducted studies, and according to a recent article they released, the average cost for a four-year university is $19,000 a year in 2015, compared to $900 a year in 1970s. And if you look at this chart here, this would be the exponential rise in the cost of education starting in 1970 to 2015. As a sophomore in college, I've done my fair share of research trying to find the most affordable colleges and close to home. So, why is college so expensive? Even the most affordable ones have their hidden fees. To better understand why this change has occurred so rapidly, we will discuss increasing salaries for university staff, budget cuts and financial aid, and how these all contribute to increasing indebtedness of students. First, let's take a look at the increased salaries for university staff. Salaries have increased not only for administration, but for staff and faculty. Whatever the reason, the uproar has not been subtle. According to the New York Times website, a major factor driving the increase in the cost of education is the constant expansion of university administration, and it's also been shown that there are no valid arguments to support the recent trend towards seven-figure salaries. Mark McNutt from the U.S. News also argued that these amenities are extremely expensive and contribute to the escalating cost of college. With cost of education on the exponential rise and salaries increasing, the quality of education has remained the exact same. Students pay more for the professors that have been teaching the same subject the same way for the last 20 years, but they pay even more year after year. Part of the issue is tenure. According to Steve Odland of Forbes magazine, part of the issue is due to the tenure policy at the universities. Tenure virtually guarantees employment for life at these institutions, regardless of the productivity of these professors. In short, professors are getting more money each year for doing the same work every single year, and are allowed sabbaticals every 3 years instead of every 7, and they are changing absolutely nothing about the way they teach. To compare, in the 1970s, full-time professors made $10,000 to $14,000, whereas today they make an upwards of $127,000. While salaries have been increasing, budgets have been decreasing. This is the next step we'll discuss. U.S. and state governments are decreasing the amount of funding it sends to these institutions. Budget cuts are defined as the act of reducing budgeted expenses. With government agencies not budgeting enough for the financially needy, colleges have to get that money from someplace else to replace the lost state funding, and that's from tuition and fees from these families. According to Paul Campos from the New York Times, by taking away assistance for needy and first-generation college students and raising the cost of education, students and families are being hit with a double and unnecessary whammy. Affordability is already at an all-time low since before the recession hit the United States, which leads to a lack of support for the students. Next, we'll discuss college indebtedness. Crippling debt is now a norm in society, and I've always been told if you can't afford it, just take out a loan. However, that's not economical or affordable for most people. According to the Washington Post, these days, students are paying more than public universities or state governments, and that makes college less affordable. This leaves some people in debt for 20 plus years after graduation and some people into their retirement. And unfortunately, the average for this year for these graduating college students is $29,400 in debt. This study has also been linked to homeownership, or the lack thereof. These college students simply can't afford to buy homes, being $30,000 in debt, which has also been linked to getting married later, having children later, or not having children at all, and just not settling down as quickly as they have in the past. In conclusion, salaries have been increasing, the amount of debt has been increasing, and budgets have been decreasing. This has taken a toll on many college students, as well as myself. And with the amount of college students increasing each year, chances are you or someone you know are facing these challenges every single day. Unfortunately, It's now been a nationwide problem, and it's time to become informed about the rising cost of education and how it affects you and your family.